Now.
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
Oh, holy night, we made it. It's 5:06. It's Election Day in this, your nation's capital. And you know it's Election Day in Washington, D.C., because all the businesses downtown are boarded up now.
God.
There's a major police presence. There's threats of calling in the National Guard if necessary.
Yeah, Kamala's house is all boarded up and
looks like
there's
a fortress
fence around it. Yeah,
we made it. We made it. God bless America for it. I hope you're waking up early. I hope you've got your plan together if you are a day of voter. If you're not and you've already voted, I hope you have a plan to get other people out there so we can exercise our rights and have our voice heard. This is our time. This is our day. And to discuss it all morning long at 6:05, Katie Gorka. She's the chairman of Fairfax County Republican Party. She's got some data on how things are rolling out there. 6:35, we'll turn to Maryland with the state chair, Nicole Harris of the Republican Party. 7:05, back down to the Commonwealth with the state chair, Rich Anderson of the Republican Party. Then let's go. 7:35, the governor of Virginia, Glenn Youngkin. And at 8:35, the lieutenant governor and the next governor of Virginia, Winsome Sears. I am Larry O'Connor. You are Julie Gunlock. We made it, Julie. We made it to election. This is our second election day together, actually, because, well, I guess technically third election day because Virginia does those off-year things, right? Yes. But it feels a little different this year, doesn't it? How are you feeling right now?
I feel good.
Yeah?
I feel great. I really do. I'm hopeful. I feel positive. I think we're in a good position moving forward. I feel really positive. And I'm not making it up. I feel calm.
Oh, wait, it's a tradition. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
We have to do this.
There we go.
There we are. We've made it. We've
Yep.
made it to the end. This is it. And everything falls into place today as polls will be opening soon. And Virginia polls close at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, so have you voted yet?
I'm not.
Neither
I
have
know.
I'm a election day voter.
Well, and especially since I began this job, because, and I know we've been talking about, go out and vote early, vote early, vote early.
Of course, yeah.
But there's something about when I drive home, our work day ends at 9:30 in the morning,
Exactly.
right? For the most part. We have some side gigs here and there.
Yeah.
And when I drive home, I get off and go right before I get into my neighborhood. There's a public library there. That's where we vote. And ever since I've moved to this area,
You used to charge your car there, right?
I used to charge my car at that parking lot. That's right. You remember. And when I walk in, there's a woman there who always volunteers on election day to work, and she's a listener.
Oh, she's your election day pal.
She is, and we have she and I are both sort of surrounded in the area that we live in by hostile enemies, and so we have this bonding.
Yeah, well,
moment.
I'm surrounded by coffee house racists.
You
so
are. You're there with women who are straight. Yeah. Honestly, every time you talk about the people you live with, I will always imagine that woman.
I am using that picture.
In the video.
That picture. I have literally used it like 7 times in the last 24 hours.
So I'll be voting. If you look for me over there at Hillsmer Shores, I'll be there at probably around 10:30 today.
I do the same thing. I go home and my husband and I go together.
That's
He's my bodyguard.
You're gonna bring the muscle.
That's right.
Well, and by the way, we want to take calls from you this morning. We want to hear what your plans are, and once polls open, we want to hear what you're seeing, what you're experiencing as the morning goes on. On Election Day, we often just sort of trickle in your phone calls throughout the morning because I know there's a lot on your mind and you want to share. And this is sort of a communal experience. We're in this together. We've been in this together up until now. 888-630-9625, 888-630 WMAL. And as always, you can reach out to us on social media. We will see what you have to say and we'll share it. Last night, the candidates, the two major candidates, the Democrat and the Republican, both sort of did their final swings, but they were not equal in terms of energy,
No, they weren't.
in
Wow.
terms of scheduling, in terms of demands. Kamala Harris kind of had an easy night for herself. It started... really, the final two swings were in the state of Pennsylvania, first in Pittsburgh, where she spoke for 8 minutes. And then she traveled to Philadelphia.
Can you imagine those people? Just think about can you imagine? They wait hours.
Yeah.
And they want to hear her.
Do they, though?
Well,
I mean, they got to see Katy Perry
true.
do a couple of songs.
At least she did some songs.
Exactly.
Okay, fine.
But, so I don't know. I mean, I hear what you're
8
saying.
8 minutes. You couldn't just give them 10. Right?
I know.
A solid 10. Okay. Fine.
She gave 8, but you're right. At least round it up.
Get you round up.
Then she got on a plane and she headed to Philadelphia, where she spoke for 18 minutes. That was the final stop. And then she got on a plane and she headed back here to Washington, D.C., where she will be watching the returns. And then she has her final election celebration party, her victory party, I guess. Now it's official. It will be at Howard University right here in Washington, D.C., which is interesting. I mean, it's her alma mater, I suppose.
It's such a swamp creature thing to do.
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
Because, she's
people go home.
She's from California.
Right.
Candidates always do this. Even Hillary, even though she's not from New York, she was the senator from New York. She recently moved to New York. She had been living in New York at least 10 years. She had her party scheduled at the Javits Center. I mean, it was not a party. It was wonderfully devastating, where everyone was screaming and crying.
She never showed up.
And she never showed up.
She never ate one canapé.
That said, that's where her party was, at the Javits Center in Manhattan. Kamala Harris is not going back to San Francisco, not going to Los Angeles, the home of her husband now, Doug Emhoff, not even going to the state of California, where up until 6 years ago, she spent her entire adult life. She's going to stay right here in Washington,
because
D.C.
she is such a swamp creature.
I mean,
she is absolutely a product of this town.
That's kind of the thing. I
Yeah.
think you're right.
Yeah.
By the way, already, as I saw reported, Secret Service agents now outnumber students on the campus of Howard
Wonderful.
University. They have canceled classes for the next 3 days.
3 days.
Through Thursday, they have canceled classes. I'm not sure why. I guess because
Well, she's very comfortable closing schools. So, happy to do that again.
So
Good times.
So that's what Kamala. Meanwhile, Donald Trump absolutely zigzagged his way across the country. He ended with his final rally in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is where he had his final rally in both 2016 and 2020. They said at the beginning of the day that the Grand Rapids rally was scheduled to begin at 10:30. I said, yeah, good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
By the time Trump gets on stage, it will already be Election Day. And I want to play this for you. This is a really wonderful moment that happened during the rally, his final rally of his career.
Yeah.
And he's there right where it began with Grand Rapids, Michigan. And while he was speaking, someone in the crowd told him it's Election Day. Listen.
So it puts us, assuming we can win tomorrow, which I think we should be able to do pretty easily, it's in our hands, right? It's in our hands.
Did you hear that?
It's
They're
totally
saying it's
in our
today,
hands.
today, not tomorrow.
Oh, it's today. Oh, it's today.
He checks his watch.
Thank you. That's today. Wow. Can you imagine a crowd like this at like 1 o'clock or some ridiculous time in the morning? On a Monday/Tuesday, right? Think of that. What a compliment. And it is true. She had nobody at these rallies.
And then he went out to talk about her rallies. Because, sometimes you distract him and he starts to, look at this crowd at 12:30 in the morning.
Right.
Her rallies. And then you got 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, a comedy routine.
Yeah. Well, we're going to give you the latest on the polls. We're going to give you the final look of what things look like, what people are saying. And, and I'm going to do something that I have not done. This is my fourth presidential election covered here on mornings on WMAL. And I'm going to do something I've never done. I'm going to give you a prediction. I never give predictions, but I'm all in. I'm going to give you my prediction, and I'm going to give it all morning long. And to hell with it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. What do you?
Trump as the 47th president of the United States of America. Fight! 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 Let's go!
That was at the Pittsburgh rally for Donald Trump yesterday. And by the way, that woman, a young African-American woman wearing a Cleveland Browns jersey in Pittsburgh, which normally would not be a good idea.
That's right.
But she gets away with it because that is the granddaughter of NFL legend James Brown,
Wow.
the running back,
Yep.
one of the greatest running backs in NFL history. She was there to fire up the crowd for Donald Trump. Also in the crowd in Pittsburgh, the son of Roberto Clemente, legendary Pittsburgh Pirate, Roberto Clemente Jr., also there to support Donald Trump, which leads me to my prediction, because there is something different about this election, Julie, something very, very different. And we've looked at the numbers, we've looked at the polls, we've looked at the narratives and the policies and the extraordinary nature of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and everything that happened and the way the media has interfered and just all of it. But there's two major things that keep sticking out to me as I try to figure out what's going to happen at the end of the day today. And yes, before everyone starts tweeting at me, my prediction is not taking into account extraordinary, shenanigans that could very well happen if it's close in certain areas. So before you can't bake that in. Stop. That's when my Eeyore Republicans show up. Oh, none of it matters. What's the point? There's two things that stick out to me. The first is these polls. I refuse to believe that all of these major polling companies suddenly overnight figured out how to find the Trump voters and account for them in their numbers. I think there's two factors that keep this hidden Trump vote out there. The first is they've always been overlooked from 2016. On this day in 2016, Hillary Clinton was up by 5 points in Pennsylvania, and she lost it. Same with Wisconsin, same with Michigan. I think in Wisconsin it was a little closer, 2.5 points maybe. Florida was neck and neck 8 years ago today, and now it's not even close. So I refuse to believe. I believe that they are still being underreported. So since these polls all show it neck and neck, I just bake into the cake that means Trump's ahead by about 3 points.
And just really quickly, and I don't remember the exact figure, but the New York Times came out with a poll that gave Kamala the lead. And then if you read the story accompanying the pollster actually admitted that that Republicans are underrepresented by some wild number. Right. And so everybody the poll comes out and everyone's like, ooh, wow, looks good for Kamala. And then a couple days later, people are like, ooh, not that.
The turnout model.
Yeah, basically this is meaningless. We can't accurately track Trump voters.
That said, and sticking with the polls, the fact that the national number is so close, when every time Trump has won, or in 2020 when it was razor thin margin, Trump was losing in the national poll by 3 to 5 points, and now it's neck and neck nationally. Those indications show me that the polls are under-reporting Trump numbers.
I know where you're going with this, Larry.
The second thing that I'm looking at, and it has to do with what I just mentioned, Roberto Clemente's son, James Brown's granddaughter, yesterday Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., musicians, athletes, NFL athletes wearing MAGA hats after the game.
In 2016.
This has never happened before. There is a cultural shift right now in this country where the stigma that had been laden upon anybody who dared to support or even not hate Donald Trump has been whittled away. It certainly hasn't been removed, but people are standing up in this election like never before saying, go ahead and try to cancel me. I don't care. There are things that are more important than that. Last time around with COVID, with Black Lives Matter, with the transgender issues, children were sent home from college to pick fights with their parents to try to challenge them on who they're supporting in the election. The families were ripped apart. That is not happening this time around. We've learned how to fight against that. And even those kids have kind of recognized how bad things have been in the last 4 years. I feel like the electorate, let me say this. The day after the election in 2016 when Donald Trump won, I remember that morning when we started our program, I said, I hope everyone realizes how ticked off we all are now. And guess what? We are 10 times more ticked off than we were 8 years ago. Not just about COVID, not just about what's happened in the last 3.5 years with cost of living, with the wars that have broken out, the inappropriate use of our military overseas, the pullout in Afghanistan.
The abuse of children.
The abuse of children in our schools with the policies as well as the, God forbid, what
curriculum and the transgendering, yes.
The extraordinary and frankly deceptive way they replaced Joe Biden without a single vote cast for Kamala Harris, and the way the media has been all over the place with their propaganda, lying, deceiving. I feel like everything is coalescing right now. And I'm going to say, I'm not even just predicting Donald Trump's going to win. I think he's going to win in a decisive election. This country has changed. And I'm not going to use the word landslide, but I'm looking at well over 300 electoral votes, and I think he's going to win the popular vote.
The common way in which the Never Trumpers would make fun of Trump supporters is they would always say, but he fights, right? Mm-hmm. That is exactly why I support Trump.
All we need.
But he fights. He fights for us, for the people who are being smeared and made fun of, and the people who are told you don't matter.
Yes.
So that resonates with America. And we've taken it for a long time. Hunter Biden's laptop.
Thank you. I didn't even touch that.
Even mention
all the crimes, all the cover-ups, the use of the Justice Department.
The cover-up of the cocaine.
Arresting Donald Trump, his mugshot, the Mar-a-Lago raid. The assassination.
Yes,
we
the
still don't know
assassination.
anything
I know.
about the assassin's family or
Right.
his background.
Right, and then I'm sorry, but the covering up of the cocaine, in the White House, like all of these things,
Yeah.
they just happened. There's no accountability, and I will also say, COVID, Hunter, the intelligence officials saying it was Russian disinformation. All that, nobody pays a price.
That's right.
This is how
accountability.
This is how accountability
This
happens.
is it. This is it. This is when our voice is heard. So listen, I'm willing to be wrong on this. I am willing to be wrong. I think Trump wins. I think he wins handily. I think he wins. I think a message is sent today, big time. And I'll
you got to get out and vote.
Right, but only if you get out and vote.
Republicans do it on
Exactly.
Election Day, so get out and vote.
Tom and Lorton, let's start with you, Tom, real fast. What's happening today?
Hey, guys. So last night I started with some roadside flag waving and did that till about 8 o'clock. Went to bed, woke up at 2, been putting up
Wow.
Trump signs all over the city, flags over overpasses. I mean, I wouldn't do that. That was definitely not me. And I'm here with my good friend Steve right now. He's one of the coordinators for Fairfax County GOP, and picking up my poll material and supplies, and I'm headed to Falls Church and wherever else Steve sends me today to
There you
reelect
go.
Donald Trump, the 47th president.
Yes,
Amen,
you rock.
brother.
You rock.
It is
Thank you.
5:24. Tom and Steve are out there getting it done in Lorton and Fairfax County, and wherever your chief, Katie Gorka, sends you, Tom, and God bless you. We're going to talk to her coming up at 6:05. Right now, it's 5:24.
Now,
On 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app.
O'Connor and Company.
It's 5:36 on this election day. Thanks for tuning into O'Connor and Company as the polls will be opening in just 23 minutes in Virginia. Virginia also one of the first jurisdictions, I was going to say states, but they get sensitive about being called a state, right? Yeah. To close early today at 7 o'clock. So one of the first indications of where this election is going will be when we see the polls close in Virginia. I'm not saying that Trump has a chance to win Virginia, although, of course, he does.
Yeah.
But if it is tight, Biden won Virginia by 10.
It's New Year.
If it's tight, it's an indication that this is not 2020. Coming up later this morning at 6:05, Katie Gorka of Fairfax, Republican chair there. 6:35, Nicole Harris, chair of the state of Maryland's Republican Party. 7:05, Rich Anderson, chair of Virginia's Republican Party. Then at 7:35, Governor Glenn Youngkin. 8:35, Lieutenant Governor and future Governor Winsome Sears.
What a
It's
show.
Larry O'Connor with Julie Guy. Anytime you're here, Julie, it's
thank
what
you.
a show. And we are set to go on this Election Day. It is absolutely it. We got to leave everything out on the field. Don't hold anything back. And we're taking your calls as well at 888-630-9625. You can tell us what your election day is looking like. And once you get to the polls today, tell us what you saw. Hey, Pat in Annapolis. Pat, what's going on your election day?
Do you remember 2016?
Yeah.
Remember I predicted Pence and Trump?
Wait, you're asking if I remembered your
another
call
partner.
from 5:30 in the morning 8 years ago? Of course I do, Pat. Of
Yes.
course I do. Vividly. In
Hey,
fact,
you
I
guys are
play
a
it every
breath of
night
fresh
before I
air.
go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, Julie, good morning. Hey,
Good morning.
listen, I'm predicting a trifecta.
What do you got?
A trifecta tonight. Yep. Senate, House, and the President.
In the White House.
I'm headed to work, Fort Belvoir. And after that, climb up in a tree
Nice.
and hunt deer this afternoon. And then this evening, I'm going to turn on to CNN and watch people cry.
That is fantastic, Pat. So you drive from Annapolis to Fort Belvoir every day for work? That's fantastic. That's a great drive too,
Yes,
at
well,
this
I'm
time of day.
I'm a contractor.
All right.
Contractor. You have a great day.
Brilliant.
God bless y'all.
Pat,
You
that
too,
sounds like a
Pat.
great day.
That
Thank you so
does.
much. And I will always, 8 years from now, we'll have another conversation, and I will remember this call.
Thanks,
What
Pat.
a great way to spend Election
No
Day.
kidding.
Up in a blind,
Yep,
just waiting
yep,
for a
yep.
deer to walk by.
Yep.
That's beautiful. All right, yesterday at the rally I mentioned they got to see Katy Perry, right? Well, first Katy Perry's endorsement. This is just the creepiest thing to me.
Well, I just love how she closed by, trotting out people who are so relatable. Right? Katie hasn't bought a loaf of bread in God knows how long.
Yeah, again, people who will not be suffering any of the ramifications or consequences of these elections. Although Katy Perry made the case, and this is really the only case, they've got two arguments, and that is to say that Trump is Hitler, and the other argument is to say to completely lie and say that Trump is going to institute a federal law keeping you from being able to kill your baby.
That's right.
Which, by the way, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, me too.
But sadly, he's not doing that, actually, so it's a lie. But Katy Perry is all in for making sure that her granddaughter never survives the womb.
And 4 years ago, I became a mother.
Ugh.
Best decision I ever made. Orlando and I, we welcomed our daughter Daisy, and she is the reason I am voting for Kamala Harris.
So weird.
I've known Kamala since before she was a senator. I've always known her to fight for the most vulnerable, to speak up for the voiceless, to protect our rights as women, to make decisions about our own bodies. Yeah,
you might want to ask her about what you did during COVID and your decisions for your own body. Why is she all out of breath, by the way?
I don't know.
Do you think she just did her song? You know what? Listen, the reason they were there was not to hear her deliver her impassioned speech and endorsement so that her granddaughter could be killed in the womb. No, they went there to listen to her sing. So can we do that? Can we listen to her sing?
Yeah, but can I just say one thing?
Sure.
This whole, I'm a mother, and it was the best decision, and then, yay, killing babies, is the most disturbing way to deliver that message. Women do it. Women on the left do it all the time. And I think women are turned off by that. I think they just don't let's not mention motherhood and baby killing.
So. Yeah.
I don't think, I'm not talking about the frothing at the mouth, racist coffee shop liberal, right?
Yeah.
But I'm talking
just
most
normies,
average women and persuadable Democrats and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't think they like
you
that.
could make the case for abortion, I suppose, but don't merge it with your duty as a mother.
Right. It's gross.
But and think of the logic there, by the way. I became a mother, best decision I ever made. I want to make sure that my daughter doesn't make that decision.
Right. Exactly.
I want to make sure that she makes the wrong decision and not, okay. So let's listen to Katy Perry sing, shall we? But I have to forewarn you, this is live.
Turn your volume down just a little bit.
There's no studio tricks. There's no auto tune. This is Katy Perry bringing all of her talents to the stage for her candidate, Kamala Harris. Wow, I built that up big, didn't I? See, we have a system and it resets itself sometimes on the auto. All right.
And if by chance the special place that you've been dreaming of.
Oh, no, Katie, don't sing that song, please. Oh, God, Katie.
It leads you to a lonely place. You'll find your strength in love.
Little pitchy dog.
Little bat.
Yeah, I don't think she'd make it through American Idol. But she hosted for a few years there. All right, but here's the best part. That wasn't the worst failure at the Kamala Harris rally. Here's the biggest failure at the rally, and this is just beautiful. Kamala Harris, she did it again. The crowd is chanting her name, and I don't know why she's this awkward, but there's energy, there's excitement. The crowd is with her, and she just, it's like she had flatulence in the middle of the arena. Here it comes.
Thank you. Let's vote. Let's get out the 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 vote. Let's win.
Oh, dear. It's like that time, Larry, where...
All right, let's get to work. 24 hours to go.
It's like that time where she's at everyone's going Kamala, Kamala, and she goes, now chant your name.
Exactly.
And there was this What do we do? What do we do? It was that
Right.
Office happy birthday where everyone gets to the name and no one knows what to say.
When the crowd is chanting something and they're
Let
in
'em
the
go.
rhythm, in the flow, don't then try to inject yourself and say, hey, I got an idea, everybody.
Yeah.
It's like, don't be that
No.
guy or that gal. It is 5:44. A recent poll shows the top reason people seek financial help is to understand how much they can safely spend in retirement, right? It's like, we're going to retire. How much money can I actually spend? For years, retirees have relied on the 4% rule. It says withdrawing 4% from your assets each year will provide adequate funds for retirement. The problem is that this rule doesn't account for unexpected expenses like healthcare emergencies, inflation, sequence of returns. Now, many financial professionals are rethinking this rule, and they suggest maybe reduce those withdrawals to 3 or even 2%. Abe Abish believes you deserve better. A local family-owned business with offices in Ashburn, Abish Financial specializes in creating income plans customized to your individual retirement goals to help you have the spending confidence you've earned. Don't let the economy or unpredictable markets determine your future success. Call Abish Financial for your complimentary retirement review and income report. It's 571-570-3559, 571-570-3559, or visit theretirementkey.com. Investment advisory services offered through Abish Financial Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor firm. Insurance services offered through Abish Financial Services, Inc., licensed in Virginia. Endorser has been compensated. Opinions are his own. 545.
Live and local.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
It's election day here, finally. Don't forget your coverage tonight is going to be, right? I know people are, Pat from Annapolis said he's going to go home and watch CNN to see everyone cry. You can do that, and that's totally worth doing, by the way. But keep the volume down and keep your radio or listening device of choice right here on WMAL. You've got, of course, Mark Levin, the best coverage you're going to get from 6 to 9. And then our buddy Vince Colonnese and his team comes back for our special election night coverage starting at 9 p.m. I'll be chiming in. I think Chris Plant's going to be chiming in, and it's going to be an extravaganza. So make sure you're here for that. By the way, we're going to be covering here this morning this election, of course, and taking your calls at 888-630-WMAL, but also all of the other elections.
Right.
The Senate races in Virginia, in Maryland, the very hotly, we've got 3 hotly contested toss-up House races right in our backyard. We've got Virginia 10, of course. We've got Maryland 6, and probably the most hotly contested and watched House race in the nation. I speak, of course, about Derek Anderson versus Eugene Vindman in Virginia 11.
11?
And so we're going to, Virginia 11.
11?
Is where, what?
It's not Virginia 11.
What are you talking about? Derek Anderson,
What are you
Eugene
basing
Vindman,
this on, Larry?
Virginia 11. What do you
basing
think it is?
What are you basing this on?
Well, Eugene Vindman yesterday on CNN. He said
the candidate said
when I campaign, I've campaigned in every corner of the 11th district.
Yeah,
See?
he's the candidate.
Well, he's wrong.
I know. Well, no, I saw people online saying, no, he's wrong. It's the 7th district. It's Virginia 7. Derek Anderson is running in Virginia 7. He, of course, was raised there in Spotsylvania. He knows that.
Right,
but
his
no,
mom owned a restaurant.
I'm sorry.
No.
Listen, Eugene Vindman can't be wrong. He's a Democrat. He's a retired colonel. He's entitled to be called colonel. He's
credentialed.
By the way.
Right.
And he's raised a ton of money from Los Angeles, so he knows what district he's running in.
When I campaign, I've campaigned in every corner of the 11th district.
The day before election day.
Does this guy realize that he's been in the wrong area?
I don't know what to tell you. Listen, everybody out in Virginia 11, you need to go out and vote for Eugene Vindman. We gotta do our best. This would be fantastic if everyone writes him in, and then Jerry Connolly is 11, right? Or no, that's you're 11.
8. Yeah. No, I'm 8th.
All right. No, so it is Connolly. Yeah. Connolly's 11. That would be great if
hold on a sec.
Vindman as a write-in candidate beats Connolly in Virginia 11.
I
mean, that's right. Virginians in 7. If you've been on the fence and you haven't decided, maybe this should tell you exactly who Eugene Vindman is.
And now Virginia 11th has another choice.
When I campaign, I've campaigned in every corner of the 11th district.
What a moron.
The day before the election.
He really is an incredibly bad. I mean, if you saw how he responded to a simple question of what is your rank?
Right.
Right. Oh, my gosh. He could not give a straight answer.
Yes or no? Are you? Did you retire as a colonel? Well, I'm entitled to be called a colonel.
Can you imagine using the word entitled?
Yes.
It's just unbelievable. Anyway, he has been a terrible candidate. He's uncomfortable. He's awkward. And then the day before, He forgets what
He has been a
district he's
terrible
running in.
candidate, although maybe, again, he's had a handicap because he's been running in the wrong district.
Well, he also is a Vindman. So
He's got
talk about
that
a handicap.
going for him.
When I campaign, I've campaigned in every corner of the 11th district.
Seriously, Derek Anderson's got to be like, thank you, God. One last soundbite to work with.
Derek's like, you're making this too easy.
Right. Meanwhile, back in Virginia 7, Derek Anderson on his final night had a huge rally going there with two pretty high-profile folks standing there with him.
Speaker Mike Johnson here in Virginia's 7th District with Governor Glenn Youngkin and Derek Anderson, our all-star candidate for this seat. We got to win this. The road to the majority and saving America runs through this district. We got to.
That's right. So there's Johnson there, the speaker, and Glenn Youngkin right there with Derek Anderson.
I always forget how tall Youngkin is.
Yeah.
He's a basketball player.
He is a very, very tall man.
He's very tall.
It is 5:53.